So thank you, everyone, and thank you to all those people out there for joining us today. And this, if you're not from Montreal and you're somewhere warm and cozy, good for you. We're in the middle of a blizzard. For those people who are here, you've seen it, but thank you for those people in the audience, as Lynn said, has made it through the snow. I am going to speak with you today about the new Vic Project, the revitalization of the Royal Victoria Hospital. And I'll just get the presentation going here, and while we click forward, and we'll go right to full screen mode, and this should be okay for us. So, as Lynn said, I'm the Senior Philanthropic Advisor for McGill University on the new Vic Project, and you are seeing here a slide with the opening view. So one of the things I want to take you through today is, what is the vision behind the revitalization of the Royal Victoria Hospital? Why McGill? Why now? And what can you expect? Throughout the presentation, I'll make reference to some of the buildings, some of the architectural renderings, and who's going to be there. At the end, please join me in a question and answer period, and I'll be happy to do my best to answer your questions. So this first image is because people ask, well, what is McGill actually taking over? And so just looking at this cursor, just going back, looking at this cursor, I won't use the cursor because it's very sensitive. The gold section of this image with the dotted line all around it, the gold section represents 15% of the site. That is what the university has embarked on. That's the old Royal Victoria Hospital. And we are only revitalizing that. So at the top, you'll see the Women's Pavilion, and on the west side, or to my left, is the Allen Memorial and the Ludmer Center. We're not talking about that. It's only the gold section. So it's a tremendous size. It's 51,000 square meters of space with multiple buildings that are in various stages of disrepair, and so we'll get into that a little bit more. A key point, this is being managed by the Quebec government. They are our partners, so the Société Québécoise Infrastructure, the SQI, is responsible for the whole site, and there are partners in the project. You've probably read about the project in the Montreal Gazette or in the Globe and Mail. The overall budget is $870 million to retrofit it. We have roughly 5 years to do it. The university itself has a tranche of money to raise, and the government has given us, the Quebec government has sponsored part of the project with $620 million. That means that we have $250 million that we will raise, borrow, and go back to governments and say, help us more. So that's part of the project, is to be able to fund it, which is part of raising awareness of the importance of it. And that's what I really want to get across today. Why is this important for McGill? Before I get there, I want to take you back to 1893. December 2nd, 1893, this hospital, the Royal Victoria Hospital, opened. And it really, this is the picture of the day it was opened, so that's 131 years ago. This is a significant moment in Montreal's history, as the hospital was a beacon on the hill, if you will, and it was open to anyone from all walks of life. The key point is that this hospital was funded on the foundation of philanthropy. So Donald Smith, 1st Baron Strathcona and Mount Royal, and George Stephen, 1st Baron Mount Stephen, gave a combined gift of $2 million at that time to build the hospital. And one of the goals was to heal people. And so they gave this hospital to the city of Montreal. And so part of the narrative for us is, what will we do with it? We will heal the planet. And so that's the next part of this presentation. But before I get there, I want to show you the Nightingale Wing. So this is the Women's Pavilion. It was taken in about 1920. And you can see how all the beds are lined underneath tall windows, so that light, natural light, came in, and you'll see on the right side and the left side, windows open at the top. Equally, there were windows open at the bottom to create that draft as during the time they needed that air circulation in the building. This wing is a typical example of both of the Nightingale wings at the time. If you look forward, this is what we envision it as being. This is the new Vic in an architectural rendering of that pavilion, that long Nightingale wing, where sustainability and public policy will thrive. The vision here is to transform the old Royal Victoria Hospital and revitalize it into a sustainability and public policy research hub. And we see our students, our professors, and the community being part of this process. So if you think about going a little bit forward, the project isn't only about bricks and mortar. There's a lot of bricks and mortar, by the way, because it's a massive structure, but it's not only about that. It's about McGill's legacy. We are acting right now on a 200-year history, and we recognize in our bicentennial in 2021 that we need and have an opportunity to take on a bigger challenge, a new challenge, and that is very much this revitalization project, the new Vic, but it's for a brighter future for Montreal, for Quebec, for Canada, and the world. The research that's going on at the university in sustainability is groundbreaking. We have world-class researchers, and that's one of the reasons for us building this, is can we create a center where innovation is driving the conversation? The goal, if we take this image of world-class researchers, is to combine research, teaching and learning, and create a hub where sustainability systems and public policy align. It's not often that you hear about science and engineering researchers combining with public policy or social science researchers, and we envision this as the center to do it in. As a result of this massive project, we will have the single largest sustainability and public policy research facility of its kind in the world. But why McGill? So McGill is famous for being an innovator in the health sciences, and a lot of the work has gone into building another aspect, and that's our sustainability research. We have lots of other projects that are going on, but over the past decade and a half, we've been building our professors, our research, our students towards this moment. And what's been missing is, with our campuses, is a place where they can all work together. Typically, what you will see is a silo. So engineering students and professors work together, science students work with science students, and art students work with art students. What we're saying with this is, to solve climate change and other wicked problems, we need to have a collaborative approach, a transdisciplinary approach that brings these groups together. And that is exactly what the revitalized Royal Victoria Hospital will do. So why McGill again? Well, we're already doing so many things that the timing is right to make that bridge. So in this chart, there's lots of different things going on, but a key point is the expertise we have in water resources management, in food security, in sustainability policy, or sustainable agriculture. So just to name a few pieces of the network, the large ecosystem of research that's going on in sustainability, we already have the expertise, and we're doing a lot of that research right now. So why McGill? Because we're already having an impact. Can we take it further? Can we take it from the research lab, partner with our policy partners and colleagues, and create behavioral change? To do that, I want to share a couple of examples. The first one is on energy transition, and the second one is in green chemistry. So the first one, if you think about what kind of an impact are we having? Well, you've heard of electric cars. Some of you might drive them. There are problems with the battery storage. They don't measure up to that old style combustion engine that runs on fossil fuels. Now, the industry is catching up, but the researchers at McGill have created a center for the McGill Center for Innovation in Storage and Conversion of Energy. This group is actually working to innovate on carbon-free energy storage that has a long period of life. So whether it be the minerals that are going into it, how to store it better, what the charging is. This center is now working on it as we speak. The center is live. It is really the McGill Energy Storage Center. So thinking about solving the problem of future electric vehicles and battery reliability and longevity, this center is doing the research on that. There's another example I want to show you or share with you. Think about plastics. Plastics get a really bad rap in the media. We've actually seen it in the food. The nanoparticles are claimed to be in our bodies, in our water system. So are plastics no good? Should we throw them all away? The answer is no. They're very useful. Then what? Can we find a different way to create a plastic? McGill researchers have taken on that challenge and said, yes, we can. There are ways. And if we think about, McGill researchers are finding alternate ways to make plastics by using crab shells, crustaceans like abalone shells, and wood pulp, and using a less toxic, lower cost, less water intensive process that produces a higher yield. Now, where do we go with that? How do we take that to the next level and introduce it into a broader policy area? We bring our researchers together under different context. We work on that model of higher education and we change it just a little bit so that we're collaborating. So, to give you a sense of the size of what we're talking about, in this model at the new Vic, there will be 760 undergraduate and graduate active learning classroom spaces. What that means is the most modern technology, interactive technology that we can put into a classroom. We currently have 20 of them or more on the campus, and we will venture to put them in this space. That's the first thing, active learning classrooms. The second thing is we will have 150 researchers, our professors, that will be on site. This is an important commitment to sustainability research and public policy research. Finally, there will be 3,000, roughly, daily users, from classrooms to lab work to even the administration of the building. There'll be roughly 3,000 people daily. So what does that mean? That means that it's a thriving center. Now, this is an iconic shot. If you think about, this is probably what you've seen in the newspaper. We are creating an innovation collider. This innovation collider will mean that we are connecting researchers from the professoriate to the postdocs, to the graduate students, the undergrads, and community and corporate partners in the research at this moment to accelerate and have knowledge transfer that is fast, so rapid knowledge transfer. This also means that there are investors involved. And so we need to tool our university in a little different way. We have our Innovation and Partnerships Office that is doing great work with collaborating from research to commercialization. And we have other groups that are working on the entrepreneur side. So this creates a vision for the future that actually complements what we're doing on campus already. So I gave you two examples. Now I want to just lay out on a 3-2-1 model of how this is going to work. So you heard me talk about public policy and sustainability systems, and I mentioned teaching and learning one time. These are our three pillars. Public policy and sustainability systems are two research themes, and teaching and learning is the overarching or transversal theme. So what does it mean to be in public policy and sustainability systems? When you think about the university as a whole, we have many different partners in public policy. For example, in that research theme, we have the Max Bell School of Public Policy, we have 8 policy-associated centers and 3 sustainability secretariats. We envision all of those groups working with the science teams. On the sustainability systems side, we are combining molecular materials, earth systems, and urban systems, and roughly 90 plus research teams that'll be part of that wet lab, computational, and process labs. So together, they're going to work it out. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the academic community and how they're going to work it out in a second. But all of this under the umbrella of teaching and learning. So as I mentioned, there are over 1,000 professors, staff, and students that will be in that space with the classrooms, 760, almost 800 seats. There will also be a library, just like we'll have to invite you, Lynn, to come and join us in the new McGill Library branch at the new Vic. There will also be 800 plus informal spaces. These are meeting spaces and dining spaces. That's key to this collaborative vision that we have. Break out of silos, join your colleagues and collaborate. And so in order to do that, we know that these problems are all interconnected, whether it be the fires in LA or the snowstorm that we're having. I heard the other day we have thunder snowstorms. This is something new. How do we address that? When all these problems are interconnected, we bring the people together. And so part of that is, as you heard me say, connecting industry partners with our researchers. But we also need our government partners at every level to be part of conversations, and our local community. So you folks need to share with us your networks so that we can do the research that's needed and get the traction that's needed. Basically, these interconnected problems demand comprehensive solutions, and that's how we envision us solving them, is through a bigger model, a collaborative model, a transdisciplinary model. So this is an image that shows you the new and the old joining together. In this space, we envision learning everywhere. So if you're walking down the hall, an example, if you learn more things at the water cooler in office spaces, we are creating the largest water cooler on the planet. And we want people to be able to learn everywhere. That's why the focus is on informal and formal spaces, so that everything can be turned into a lecture hall or a place where a talk can happen, a discussion can happen. With that, we know that we'll draw more applicants, higher quality applicants to the school. We'll also draw those people who are really passionate about changing the world through research and making it better. And if we can encourage that, the result will be graduates that leave the institution who are talented, future policymakers, entrepreneurs, scientists, and researchers. This is the vision behind it. Can we produce the leaders of the future through this effort now? Part of that comes in the design, and as you can see, this is a multi-purpose lab. It's built with an amazing HVAC so that we can bring in different teams. The vision is combine our teams and create multiple labs where professors and researchers can work on multiple projects together. Imagine a hub where environmental sciences and urban planning are working together. That would be great, because they may come up with a solution to how buildings are built, or social science intersecting with engineering. That's the vision. Can we combine in a collaborative way our disciplines and make it, the focus is the research as opposed to just the science? So as McGill, and I mentioned this earlier, as we are in our third century, we are taking a large leap forward. It's an adventurous leap, but there are some risks. But we believe that we will be able to build a better future. We have the talent, as I've talked about. We have the partnerships and a singular vision to working together. What we need, more than anything, is the space to accelerate our momentum. And we think that's the Royal Victoria Space. And we are in that mode right now and taking it to the next level. So that piece of the discussion really highlights where we are. I'm going to go a little bit faster, give you a sense of where the design is. So if you think about the New Vic Project, we're calling it the New Vic Project for now. There is a process. It is the revitalization of the Royal Victoria Hospital. The process started in 2014 when the original paperwork was submitted, and a public consultation in 21 and 22 to where we are today in 24. If you think in 2022 was our first work on decontamination. We needed to take out a lot of stuff, asbestos and other things, and that took about 18 months. Now we're in the construction phase, and it started in 23. And if, like I mentioned to some of you earlier, if you drive by on Pine Avenue, you will see a noticeable difference in the forecourt. That parking area is now removed. Some of the windows, or most of the windows in the wing behind, have been removed. The construction is well underway. We're deep in that. We expect to end by 2029 and move in by hopefully fall 2029. So it's an ambitious schedule. The project itself has received numerous awards from the Grand Prix du Design, 3 different awards there, and in 23, the Canadian Architecture Award of Excellence. This is for Diamond Schmidt LeMay Michaud. They're the architects on the projects, and they won these prizes on with the project. The university is also contributing to sustainability. We are a sustainable institution, and we focus on that. There are several awards that we've won, including on the student side, the International Green Gown Award. So part of the fabric of the university right now is how do we generate interest in our future leaders, in our students? And how do we help our academics to acclimate to what's coming? So this slide shows you in the construction zone, and this is at the front of one of the Nightingale wings. These are our professors, our researchers. We've created a community of practice where they can come together and talk about their research and how it fits together. But we've included them in the tours so that they see the construction, they feel part of the project. And that's where our new Vic Project office comes in, and we have a change management specialist. Part of that work will go on for the next 5 years. How do we help transition people from the campus to a new environment, working under that transdisciplinary goal? Sustainability is at the core of our construction processes, and so I mentioned the tall windows in that original photo. They are 16 feet tall. This is a prototype of those windows. It's built of wood, it's triple pane with aluminum cladding around it, and it was designed and built in Denmark. And so it shipped its way over here very cautiously, and it matches our Heritage Montreal partners, the specifications for this site. What we're doing now is testing it. Does it work? Does it stand up to weather like Montreal is having today? There are roughly 650 windows to go in, so we want to get it right. And part of this process and prototyping is to ensure that we have the right product. The university is taking on a bold step forward with this view of the 5th facade. So this is an architectural rendering of vision looking from the mountain southward into the city. We are creating a 5th facade, so you'll be able to see the eastern part of Montreal in a way that you haven't been able to, and it'll be on that sort of left side of the photo. There's also stairs that come up from Pine Avenue directly to a path leading to the mountain. So there will be the intersection between the building, the campus, the building, and the mountain. There will be 2 terraces at this top site, one for the public and one for McGill researchers, staff, and students. So I mentioned a little bit about sustainability. This image here provides me with a bit of an opportunity to talk about, first, this is our front door. It's right on the corner of Pine. It is the entryway to our pavilion. And you can see that sloping arch over top of the door. That's part of the old cladding from some of the deconstruction. So it's queenstone that was put up on a building in the 50s. We've taken it off and we'll use it for that facade. How do we reuse and recycle some of the materials? As a university, we committed to 70% of the deconstruction be reintegrated into the build. That's part of the university's commitment to sustainability. So as a front door, you would walk into this space right here. You're walking into the forecourt, and if you look here, that was the front door. So you're walking into a large space. It's the old parking garage for those people who know what the parking garage is. By embedding this site into Mount Royal, what we are doing is we are employing the elements like geothermal energy. So we will have over 160 geothermal wells to provide cooling in the summer and heating in the winter. This is an amazing step forward. It shows our commitment to sustainability by investing in this energy source. The reuse of materials, which I've already talked about, and expansive natural lighting. So you can see in those large glass looking things, those are atria that will allow natural light into the environment. And this is part of our commitment as well. So if you think of the forecourt, and I talked a little bit about modality, you can have it as a crash space, informal space. There are 3 classrooms around this large space. And part of that is Students milling about here, they will come out of their classroom, crash into each other and off to another classroom. Well, what else could we do with that space? We can turn it into a teaching space, an event space. Easy change to get it to the next level. And you can see that nighttime setting provides an ideal space within the center of the forecourt. In addition to that, we look at this center place that is fully lit up by the atrium. This is also an informal space. As you look at the stairs, people can mill about, have discussions. You can see from the side, people can walk by, or it can be changed into an event space, a teaching space. So we're thinking about how do we use this space in a more constructive way? It's a large space, but with the right light, with the right furniture, with the right design, which we feel that we've got from Diamond Schmidt Le Michaud, we can create a space that allows for that interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary collaboration. And one piece about this is the university, if it becomes anything, it is already a central hub where we have 6,500 global partnerships. So how do we bring them to the City of Montreal to share their knowledge? Spaces like this allow us to do that. No university can lead globally in the 21st century without putting sustainability at the center of its operations, research, and teaching. This was written for McGill's strategic academic plan from 2017 to 2022. We are living that experience by exploring how we can use this space in a different way to provide access to our students, to our professors, our researchers, and the community around us, to invest in sustainability, to solve wicked problems. And that's part of the vision of the academic strategic plan, and we are living up to that. This is my final slide. And I want you to imagine the legacy that we can have as a community for future generations, for our kids, for our grandkids, and our great-grandkids. How this new space within the old Royal Victoria Hospital, and it's revitalized, can heal and innovate for the planet. So with your support and your communication and your building on what I'm talking about today by sharing it with your neighbors and friends, we can revitalize this old hospital and heal the planet for generations to come. That's my goal. Can we take this and spread the word? I invite you to join me in that process on this remarkable journey, and I thank you very much.